We have breaking news now from Ottawa. The Ethics Commissioner has determined the Prime Minister the breach of a Conflict of Interest Act by attempting to interfere in the so-called SNC-Lavalin affair. We have our Ottawa Bureau Chief and host of the West Block, Mercedes Stephenson, here with more on this. I'm so happy you're here to break this down for us on the News at Noon, Mercedes. First, what does the Ethics Commissioner say the Prime Minister did that was improper?
He says the Prime Minister put pressure on Jody Wilson-Raybould to overrule the decision of the Public Prosecution Office not to cut SNC-Lavalin a deal, and that would be called a deferred prosecution, something we heard a lot about. It allows a company to avoid a criminal conviction and to pay a fine instead, and that is something that Jody Wilson-Raybould had said was inappropriate political pressure, and essentially that is what is found in this Ethics Commissioner's report. He says that the Prime Minister did intervene, that he did try to use his authority to inappropriately pressure the former Attorney General, and that he also directed his staff to do the same, that this took place over a number of months, and that he was asking the former Attorney General to consider what would be partisan political interests. And he goes on to say that that is contrary to Canadian constitutional principles that have been observed since the founding of this country, including things like prosecutorial independence, which means that you don't have politicians interfering in criminal prosecutions, and also the rule of law. Furthermore, he says that if SNC-Lavalin were to have gotten a deal as a result of that pressure, they would have benefited financially. So this is all very interesting because these are a lot of the allegations that Jody Wilson-Raybould made that are now being reiterated in a report from the Independent Ethics Commissioner. In fact, he used to be a Liberal partisan, so this is not somebody who has conservative sympathies. Some thought maybe he wouldn't go that hard on the Liberals. This is pretty no-holds-barred and extensive, and potentially equally as damaging. He's talking about how difficult it was to get information from the government about what happened. And that's something that was really dogging the government during the course of this scandal, because they have presented themselves as open and transparent, that they are the government of sunny ways, and suddenly they shut down, locked down, and were accused of trying to put pressure on the first Indigenous minister to sit in cabinet as a woman as the Attorney General. So certainly this is going to be a report that you're going to see a lot of throughout the election, and the opposition are gearing up as we speak to respond to it. So is Jody Wilson-Raybould. I spoke to her before we came on the air. She says she needs to read the full report before she comments on it, and it's over 60 pages long, so that could take some time.
Yeah, certainly. Now, the Prime Minister has immediate availability in Niagara-on-the-Lake in just a few hours, a couple hours. What can we expect from that, Mercedes? What do you think he's going to say?
Well, I think he's going to be asked, first of all, for a reaction to it. Secondly, he has said that the allegations that were made by Jody Wilson-Raybould weren't true, that he did not direct her at any point, that he did not direct his staff at any point. So what does he say now that there is an independent investigation by the Ethics Commissioner who's saying, well, yes, actually, that is what happened. That is what the Ethics Commissioner believes happened and is reporting. Did he ask her to inappropriately consider partisan political interests? Will the government still consider giving SNC-Lavalin a break, considering what is being said in this report? And I can tell you, we're trying to track down the Justice Minister right now because that's his file, but his office has told us they won't comment on whether or not this is still on the table at this point. So they're not saying, well, in light of this report, we're going to no longer consider whether or not we should be giving them a break. He insists he is not being pressured by the Prime Minister's office, and he has said that in the past, and that he is making his own decision. The other big factor here the Prime Minister is going to be asked about, this is the second time that he is found to have been breaking ethics rules in a single mandate. And obviously, that is going to raise some significant questions.
Election, what, just over 2 months away? So, yeah, this is definitely going to be part of this campaign, and we're going to be hearing a lot more about it. I look forward to your full report this evening on the news. Thanks so much.
Thank you.